What's up everybody and welcome to the cave. I'm GrizzlyKaun and we have to talk about Invincible Season 4 Episode 5. What an absolute step up from last week's episode. We get some great character work and then just absolutely switch gears into an amazing rematch. And I just love having that yellow suit back. Definitely my favorite one. Is Mark officially down for the count or will he prevail? Let's get into it. So like I said, we get some really good character work in this episode, and they really stretch that scene out between Debbie and Nolan. The whole interaction in the comic is really just like one page, and I think Debbie says maybe 3 lines or something like that. I think the show has just done a really good job overall of elevating Debbie's character from what it originally was. Mark agrees to join Nolan and Alan in the fight against the Viltrumites, ultimately deciding that if he doesn't go stop them now, he's going to have to stop them later on Earth. And although the Viltrumites is going to be a real tough fight, getting back into Debbie's good graces is going to be even harder for Nolan. There is nothing scarier than a silent woman. Debbie agrees that she does miss Nolan, but he killed the man she loves, and she splits her knuckles open on his brick shithouse of a chest. She even goes so far to say he's not human, he's not one of them, and to never come back again. We then jump to a power substation that's having its power siphoned off by Dreadwalker until a hero shows up to fight the foe. We are finally introduced to Tech Jacket. So right off the bat, huge change here. Tech Jacket in the comics is a man named Zach, who they've changed to Zoe in the show. I'm not exactly sure how this is going to change the story going forward, if at all. Tech Jacket does have his own comic, but I'm not too familiar with it. But it does look like they're setting Zoe up as a possible love interest for Oliver, so I guess we'll see. Alan flies up to Tech Jacket's dad's space station and recruits her for the fight ahead. Mark and Debbie both agree that Oliver should stay behind to watch the Earth while Mark goes off to help fight the Viltrumites. However, Oliver says he has just as much to lose in this fight, and they agree to let him go. Oliver is also pissed that Nolan didn't come see him while he was at the house. This is also a huge change from the comics. Nolan originally comes into Oliver's room and he's like, "Hey bud, I missed you. Maybe I can tell you all about my life and answer any questions you have on the way to the fight." And Nolan brings him along, no questions asked. I guess we'll see what comes of the tension that they have throughout the episode and where it takes their relationship. Nolan goes to see Art to have a beer with an old friend, and Art thinks that Nolan's new costume is shit.
What are you wearing?
But when Nolan says he'll come back to see him and maybe he can make him a new suit then, Art says, "I'm sorry man, but I closed your account. I only make suits for heroes." And as soon as Nolan leaves, Art starts sucking down air like he just saw his life flash before his eyes. This had me laughing so hard. Eve and Mark have a goodbye roll in the hay.
Hello. Would you like to have a roll in the hay?
While Eve still hasn't told Mark about her pregnancy. No way this could come back to bite her in the ass, right? Jump to the next morning, Mark and Oliver say their goodbyes to Debbie and Paul before they fly off into space to join the Venture and its crew. Nolan is actually pissed that Oliver came with them, and Oliver is still pissed that Nolan didn't come to see him. Mark tells Nolan, "Whether you deserve it or not, this is your second chance. Oliver used to idolize you. Why do you think he has an O on his chest? It doesn't stand for Oliver." Again, I'm really interested to see what becomes of this conflict between the two. It was hilarious to see Cecil and crew just absolutely sweating this situation with Omni-Man returning to Earth. All of them just watching, holding their breath, waiting for that ship to fly back into space. And as Cecil mentions, this is the first time in 20 years that the Earth is not going to have any Viltrumites on it. And Donald is sure to ask, "Is that a good thing?" Cecil can only reply, "I guess we'll find out." We get a little montage of everyone just biding their time best they can until they reach the end of their 2-week trip to Telescria. Nolan, however, has nothing but time to relive old memories and pine after his lost love, Debbie. Everything's pretty chill, and then, all of a sudden, the ship's engines fail and they're forced to separate the bridge from the rest of the ship, leaving Nolan and Oliver in the living quarters as it explodes behind them. Mark goes out into the void to search for his brother and father, but is met by their greatest fears, Viltrumite vessel. We get such an amazing rematch between Invincible and Conquest, and holy shit is it brutal. As the fight ensues, Oliver almost gets his head crushed until Omni-Man asks if he needs a breath, and when he says yes, Nolan tells him to go down to the planet below. However, Conquest sees him escaping and follows him down to the planet, but Mark is not about to let him hurt his little bro. Nolan follows soon after, leaving Tech Jacket and Alan to fend for themselves. The two are overmatched, however, and decide to run and hide. Invincible and Conquest wreak havoc all over this thankfully uninhabited planet, as Mark tells him, "You're never breathing again," and locks his hands around Conquest's throat. which brings us to the brutal end of our episode. Conquest, turning blue in the face and sensing his end, shoves his hand through Mark's guts and proceeds to pull them out bit by bloody bit. Now, Conquest does do this move to Mark in the comics as well, but they just take it to a completely new level with him just yanking out the guts like that. That was wild. Crazy over-the-top gore. I loved it. Conquest continues to pull out all he can until Invincible finally steals the last bit of breath left in his body and puts Conquest down for good. This shot right here was right out of the comics, and Mark saying help is just how the page ends. I just love the way they adapted this from page to screen. Very good job, show. Great job. Our post-credit scene shows the Viltrumites still looking for Alan and Tech Jacket. Come to find out, Tech Jacket built a little dome out of her suit on the outside of the Viltrumite ship in a spot where they can't really see them. Again, what an amazing step up from last week's sadly filler episode with Damien. I know some episodes lack better animation, but you gotta give it to them. They really they put the money where it needs to be. They seem to know when to spend that extra dough to make it look great when it really needs to. And this fight absolutely called for it. Overall, I love this episode, and it's definitely not the last big fight we're going to be getting this season. A lot of changes from the source material in this episode. Very interesting. I'm also very interested in what's going to happen next week, because there's only one issue in the comic between this Conquest fight and another very big fight. Will we get a bit more filler, or will they just get right into it and the rest of the season's going to be a war zone? I cannot wait to find out. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss future content. We're going to be up to our ears in content this coming week, and you are not going to want to miss it. So until next time, I'm GrizzlyKaun, and remember, the cave is always open.